I'm going to show you how to edit a song in Auxy Studio, and in the end we'll be able to send the file to GarageBand. I'm going to show you how. First, we'll choose an instrument, which I've already created some here. This box will pop up when you push on your instrument. You can edit, you can duplicate it, or you can label it. I've already created some patterns here, and as you can see, some of the notes you can make soft. So you up in the left-hand corner, there's a soft button, which you can have a hard note or a soft note. So, okay, and I'll just try to edit a little bit and do some notes so you can see how it's done. So here you can see I'm just adding like 4 or 5 notes up at the top, and kind of starting with a hard note and then soft ones after it, just to kind of give you an idea of how I write the notes. Okay, and this is a very important thing to remember, is this little loop button. When you're working on something that will be on, you have to turn that off, so that way when you listen to it, at the bottom you can see the boxes, so it's able to go to the next box. Otherwise it will just continue looping the same box forever. Yeah, there's little boxes that are actually called scenes. Sorry. So here I'm just showing a secondary instrument that I did, like the second one that I worked on. And I'm just kind of like looking over it, showing you how adding a few extra notes maybe to complement the other notes I added on the yellow instrument we had before. Yeah, that's the only thing about recording with these things, is you're listening to the same thing about 5 million times, so don't get discouraged. Just take a break and take a smoke break every now and then. Just stay mindful of what you're smoking. Smoking. So here's a good example. You can see how I've been playing with these notes until I find the right ones. So it can be a long process making each little loop, and sometimes I'll do one day and a couple the next day, but you get to the point where sometimes you can do them all in one night. Now, an extra added thing is below each instrument box there's an effects box. It's what controls these edit features, where you can edit all the things like distortion, filters, low pass filter, high pass filter, coarse, delay, and like I'm doing now, I'm raising the distortion so that you can hear the difference. But that's not the way I wanted it, so I'm going to lower it back down again. But you can, up in that left-hand corner, you can see where it says distortion. It'll go, you can find delay, pitch, level, volume, all those things that you can adjust in there. So this thing's pretty cool. To explain these boxes at the bottom, those are your scenes. So what you do is you choose which instruments you want to be playing in that scene, and you can also choose the amount of time, like how many bars that it will play for each scene. You can do 2 bars, 4 bars, up to 8. So that's pretty nice. Okay, now this is showing your effects. If you touch the instrument, which is at the bottom of the left-hand corner, the name of the instrument, this will pop up. It's basically showing you what the effects are doing, and you can control them manually in real time, just to check out how you might like to change the effects. But as you can see, I'm playing with the distortion to see if I like it coming up. Watch, the white one. And I kind of didn't like that, so I'm trying to reverb now. I'm pulling the reverb up, like right at the end, right there, yeah. And then taking it back down. So I'm deciding, okay, I like that. So I touch the reverb up in the left-hand corner, and then I change that to 4 bars. Find the reverb, and try to edit the same movement I was doing manually, but I'll write it in. So at the very end, I'm bringing the volume of the reverb all the way up, and I'm going to wait to the beginning, and I'll bring it down. So it'll mimic what I was doing manually. I know it sounds like brain surgery, but when you become familiar with this app, it becomes like second nature. Okay, so here I'm kind of hearing in my head that it should actually go back to that first part just by itself, the very beginning, and then maybe after that a drum beat. So I duplicated it and moved it over. And next I'll be trying to choose I'm just going to choose from the beats until I find one that kind of sounds like it fits in there a little bit with some of the... This is kind of a quick way to find a beat that has the elements that I desire. You can use an empty kit, and then you have to write each little drum in there, so this is just a quick way. Which, I have no idea why I chose that, but, that's kind of like why I like this app, because I don't think about it too much. I just grab something and go with it. So I suggest that's what you do, is just kind of like hit some notes and make them work until you're satisfied and move on. Okay, next you're going to see what's really cool about this. Now if I press the snare on the left hand side, or any drum sound, you can go and change it through the library. I have the Pro thing where I pay, I think it's like $4.99 a month. But even without that, I mean, you still have a wide variety of sounds. You can still do magic with this thing, so... I've already gotten into the delay of the snare, which... just gonna basically hit the snare just like you would the instrument, and it'll take you to that effects menu thing. So you kind of just gotta get used to the feel of it. Like anything else, you get used to it. here I go again, searching for more sounds. In the category I usually go, and then you can get you have cymbals and percussion, find crash cymbals. And that's what I was looking for. But as you can see, all those plus signs up above, all the drums are empty. You can fill them with any sound you want. So it's actually very cool. Basically here I'm just tweaking the crash cymbal, reverb, and delay, trying to get the right sound I want. Yeah, it took a little too long. Okay guys, I think I'm going to spare you a little bit and fast forward till I get this beat finished. Because it was a preset thing and I keep changing like little sounds I don't like. Auxy is pretty cool because you do all these things while you're making it. Then later you don't have to mess with it. Actually you don't have a choice, you have to watch it. No, but actually I forgot to tell you, what I've done here is I wrote the beat in one bar, and then you can take it up in the left upper corner, you can make it 4 bars and duplicate it. It'll take your beat and make it, repeat it 4 times. So basically, you write 1 bar and you can have it go 4 times. I personally like to make each bar a little bit different. Now you can see I have to get rid of that sound. So I'm searching again for a new drum. But that's what's lovely about this app, is that you have endless, and you can even sample your own if you wish. Okay, so finally it's like I'm satisfied with that beat. So then I'll duplicate it, scene, and begin a new beat. Here we go again. I promise I'll make this beat a lot faster, and probably make a few cuts, fast forwarded. Okay, so now I'm going to go up to the bars and turn it into a 2-bar instead of 1. Duplicating the first bar into 2. And then I'll just fiddle around with the bass drums and make them different for each bar. Okay, what I just did is I changed the entire setting of the layout of the grid from a 16th beat to a 32nd. That's how I got the hi-hats to do the rolls. And now I'm changing it into a 4-bar, duplicating that 2-bar into a 4-bar, so I can add this impact. That's what they're called, impacts. In the categories with, you know, everything else, cymbals and hi-hats have impacts. There's some very wild, cool special effects. Okay, so I was shortening the length of that, and now if you watch, you hit this little gear on the right hand side of the box and it takes you down to this other setting. See, I switched the switch for it to follow the pitch direction of whatever I edit up in the rectangular box under the drum beat. So let's see how that works out. Okay, so if you watch closely, I'm going to make a new rectangular effects box underneath the instrument there. The instrument is the drums, of course, but I'm going to use that to change the pitch for the impact that I just made. Okay, so I figured I'd look for a riser, kind of like sound like some air coming in. And I'll finish my beat off if I can get that in there. Jog my memory. With these, you have to take the note and drag it to match the length of the riser. So you'll see I have to stretch the note way out. Okay, so I'm going to fast forward through some of this to get you through. So here I'm going to take the same loop and put a new effects to it, which takes a while, so I'm going to speed you through it. Alright, now we're going to play with the pitch, so you can see how you can actually make the guitar sound like it's changing notes with the pitch. Oh, I had a brilliant idea. I still can't leave it alone. this is basically an example of how the rest of the song is all done. You just have to duplicate it and mix it around the right way, and then you have a finished tune. So what I'm attempting to do is fade the entire thing out, and what you have to do for that is whatever instrument you have in your scene that you want to fade out, you have to get the effects rectangle box, and you can make the scene longer than 8 bars. You can make it like 12 or 13 or 14, however long it takes for you to fade it out. And then hit scene instead of bars when you make how long it is for the volume of each instrument, and it'll eventually go out like that. Here I'm just trying to add in some extra little lead notes as it's fading away, so just to be a little artsy as it fades out. You can kind of tell when I do these kind of things, it's just like, I'm just guessing. As long as the notes sound good, they fit together, then when you play it, it's kind of magic, and if it doesn't fit, you can move it around later, So, it's just no fear, man. See what I mean? It was a bunch of guesswork, but then when you add reverb and delay to it, it's like, it becomes magical, So if you watch close, I'll teach you how to fade out here. So what I've done is I've made this one scene 14 bars long. And then what I'll do is I'll take every instrument that's in that scene and get the volume and make that 14 bars long. But yeah, there is no way to make it 14 bars. You have to hit scene in each one of the volumes. So you press scene at the very bottom, and it'll just automatically go to the length of 14 bars, and then you fade that all the way to nothing. And you'll see me do it with each instrument. Yeah, if you watch, I duplicate the existing effects box, whatever's there, then I turn that into the scene that's going to fade out. So that way you don't mess with your earlier versions of that effects that don't fade out. So you have one that doesn't fade out that you use in the song, and you have one that does fade out at the end. Well, I hope my videos help some people. I don't know if anybody out there is ever using this app, but I think it's pretty awesome. Hope you all enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.
I got you. You thought I was leaving. No, we still listen to the song one more time. That's right. And I'm going to show you how to put it in GarageBand when we're done. So you're not getting out of it that easily.
Sorry, I was trying to play the song, but I had to duplicate everything to make it longer and finish it out the right way. But this next part will show you how to actually render it in the Auxy app and turn it, and then send it out to your files. And then from there you can send it to SoundCloud, or you could send it to other places. I mean, or you could turn it into a video for Facebook. There's options like that. Okay, here normally I would press export audio, but if you press export project, you can do all these things here, which would be, to your DAW or whatever you may have. I'm actually going to hit export audio. Now then you hit rendering at the top. Now it's rendering. Now we're waiting patiently. Okay, so we've like heard that way too much. So from here you could send it to SoundCloud, you could send the audio out, you could send in a video for like Facebook, but we're going to be using export a wave, lossless wave. So I'll be hitting the one that says open in, and it says, then it brings up in files, and then I'll be going to my favorite file, which is folder, which is music complete, where I put all my songs, and then that should pop up. Eventually, then we leave Auxy and we go see if it made it where I sent it into music complete, and we got to go alphabetical order down to what did I call it? Squirrely videos, which is sort of like what I'm making right now. And there it is, which okay, so we know. Then from here, I'll go to GarageBand, start an entire new song by hitting the plus sign there. And usually the quickest way to do this is just grab any instrument. I'll just grab the drums. And first I have to do a little drum solo just for kicks. Anyway, just kind of hit record and record just a second of time, and when you stop, then you can hit this little button over there. It looks like tracks. It's the third thing over from the files, and that's where you will see the drum now. But then this little thing will come over to like a little squiggly line that is where they keep all of their samples, if you're familiar with GarageBand. But instead of going into the samples like I'm doing right here, and that would be for iTunes, but we don't use it. We'll go into files, and then we'll go way to the bottom where it says browse, and then browsing will take you back to where you can find anything. And I'll go right into my files, and there it is. Now I put it in there, and it's in there in alphabetical order under squirrely videos. First, however, a little plus sign on the very end of the push that, and then you can make your track automatic, so that way it'll span the entire length of the file instead of repeating 8 bars endlessly like a loop. So then here we can just drag our file into place. So basically here all I'm doing is just lining up the tempos. The original tempo I did in Auxy was 120, so I'll change this to 120. And from this point you can dub vocals or whatever you want to do with it. More instruments. In my case, looks like I started doing drums. My best friend was a drummer that I knew from when I was about 5 years old, But that's one thing I can say I love about Auxy is no mixing involved, no mastering. watching my video, and please subscribe, or just give. I'd love a comment. If I helped you in any way. It's very complicated. My name is Matt.